If you are somebody that is looking to train hybrid where you're mixing your strength and conditioning together, but your main goal is to build muscle, then this video is going to be for you, because I'm going to go through everything that you need to do with your workouts, with your nutrition, how to create a program to reach your goal and the main goal of building muscle while still being able to improve your cardio and run and do conditioning and blend all of your training into a hybrid training program. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking all about building muscle as a hybrid athlete. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Jordan. I'm a gym owner, I'm a personal trainer, and I'm an online fitness coach. And I post weekly fitness content here on YouTube. A lot of the content that I post is around strength training and hybrid training and how to blend running and lifting into a program. That's something that I practice every week. I run and I lift every single week. I help lots of clients put programs together that train in a hybrid style. So it's something that I'm very passionate about. And really what I want to do today is just help you understand how to create a program that's sustainably going to help you build muscle. Because what we don't want to do when we're running and we're lifting is we don't want to create too much volume or not enough calories or make all these mistakes that I've made personally myself. And I see a lot of other people make when they start off with hybrid training, especially if their goal is to build muscle. So I want to go over all those tips and give you a great foundation on how to put a program together to successfully build muscle, even though you are running. Because just because you're running, that doesn't mean that it's going to burn muscle. If you structure your nutrition and your program in the right way, which we'll talk about today, you can effectively build muscle and build the body that you want while still having a really healthy and high functioning cardiovascular system. So let's start off with the nutrition first. I'm gonna go through nutrition. We'll talk about program design a little bit later after the nutrition, but I wanna start here because this is something that I think so many people mess up, because when they think of running, they think of burning muscle, they think of burning calories, they think of cardio. And with that said, if your main goal is trying to build muscle and you're running on top of your strength training, you're burning more calories each week. And you're going to need to replace those extra calories, especially if your main goal is to build muscle. So muscle doesn't come from nowhere. We need to be in a caloric surplus in order to build muscle, especially if you're somebody that has been training for a while, you've been lifting for more than a year. You're going to need to be eating more calories than your body's burning. So that can look very different for everybody, but typically where I start most of my clients is at least a 250 calorie surplus on top of their maintenance calories. And especially if we're training hybrid where we're lifting and we're running a lot, you're going to want a large amount of those calories coming from carbohydrates. So you're going to make sure that bare minimum, you're getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. It's going to help you recover. And then at least 40 to 50% of your calories need to be coming from carbohydrates. The rest of those calories can come from healthy fat sources, things like nut butters, avocados, the fat that comes from meats, the fat that comes from eggs. These are all going to be healthy fat sources that are going to help you maintain a good hormone profile, and are going to be very calorically dense, making it easier to get into a caloric surplus. Now, again, these are general recommendations with your calories. If you are looking for specific macros, it's something that I do with my online training clients is build out a program and really combine their workouts with their nutrition and build out a meal plan with that. But I do also have a free resource on my website where I can do a great place to start, a free macro calculation for you. Like I said, this is going to be a great place to start with your macros and give you an idea of where your calories should be. So I actually have a link down in the comments below where you can go fill out that form, and I will do a free macro calculation and give you a great place to start if you don't know how many calories you need to be eating, or if you don't know how many carbs, fat, protein you need to be eating on a daily basis to reach your goals. So after done listening to the video today, definitely go check that out. Like I said, the link is in the comments below. I think it's very easy to increase your workouts, increase the intensity, and think that, okay, I'm just going to build muscle and I'm going to lean up because I'm running more. But actually what's going to happen is when you add more running and you add more strength training and trying to overload and push in your workouts, you're going to create more fatigue. So the nutrition is super important from the aspect of helping your body recover and making sure that each workout you're recovering by eating enough protein, you're adequately sleeping, you're adequately hydrating, you're using electrolytes, and making sure that we're staying hydrated, because as a hybrid athlete, plain water is not going to cut it. I'll do at least 1 to 2 scoops of our pink Starburst FitGrind electrolytes on a daily basis. Typically what I'll do is I'll mix 1 scoop before a long run. I'll sip on a scoop during a strength training workout. And then after every single run, I also do an additional scoop just to make sure that as we're sweating electrolytes out of our body, we need to make sure that we're replenishing the sodium, the potassium, and the magnesium like you'll find in our pink Starburst electrolyte. Plain water is not going to cut it. It's something that's going to make a huge difference as a hybrid athlete. And like I said, just making sure that you're eating enough carbohydrates. A lot of hybrid athletes can see huge increases in performance, not only in their strength training, but also in their running by eating adequate amounts of carbohydrates. So like I mentioned before, at least 40% of your calories can come from carbohydrates. And I have some clients that are eating upwards of 45 to 50% of their calories coming from carbohydrates, and they're not putting on loads of body fat. They're having great energy. They're having great workouts. They're building strength. They're getting stronger, and they're building fitness without beating their bodies up and feel like they're really reaching every single workout because they're just not adequately fueling their body for the intense running and the intense training sessions that we're doing every single week. So carbohydrates are your best friend. Electrolytes are your best friend, and just eating at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is the best place that you could start if you're a hybrid athlete and you're looking to build muscle. Next, I want to dive into the program design, the strength training, and the running, especially if your goal is to build muscle. We'll talk about the strength training, talk about the running. Again, there's going to be so much variation. Everybody's going to be very different with their goals, their level of their fitness, how long they've been training. So the volume is going to need to be tweaked depending on all those factors. But the main emphasis, if your goal is to build muscle and build strength, the strength training has to take the priority in your program. So you need to realize that you can't be running 50, 60, 70 miles a week and still have the main priority of building muscle. Your strength training needs to be the main focus, and I would at least be strength training 3 times per week, if not upwards of 4, 5, potentially even 6. I have a lot of clients that are training 3 times a week or strength training 3 times a week that are seeing awesome progress. And as long as you're following a structured plan that's built on progression, you're focusing on your big, heavy compound movements, you're focused on getting stronger, and you're training most of your exercises in that like 6 to 10 rep range, and you're getting stronger each week, you're going to build muscle. Where the problem lies is if we're running too much, we're coming in, we're taxed from those running sessions, we're not really following a structured plan, we're not progressing our weights from week to week, we're not keeping track of our reps and our sets. That's where you start to lack the stimulus that you need to create on the body to build muscle. So the strength training needs to be heavy. You need to focus on getting stronger. And what I would do for each muscle group is at least pick 2 compound movements that you're trying to get stronger at from week to week. So for example, if you're doing a leg workout, your compounds could be something like a deadlift and a Bulgarian split squat, or they could be a back squat and a Romanian deadlift. You want to pick big compound movements that you can lift the most amount of weight, train the most amount of muscle groups to focus on getting stronger in that 6 to 10 rep range. This is something that I do with all of my clients. We're making sure that we're getting stronger from week to week. And if you can do that, and then blend in enough volume and intensity in those accessory exercises, you're going to place the stimulus on your body to grow. You can set up your program a lot of different ways. If you're training 3 times a week, a good upper lower full split can work. You could do a push pull legs. There's a lot of ways that you could set it up. As you start to strength train more, you obviously have more options on how you can structure your program. So if you're training 4, 5, 6 days a week, or strength training 4, 5, 6 days a week, you can be a little more creative. You can set up your program a little bit differently. But the main thing that I want to emphasize here and I want to hammer home here is the progression and the structured plan is the most important thing that you could do. If you don't have a plan coming into the gym and you don't know what to do, that's a problem. We need to fix it. And that's something that I can definitely help you with. So if you are interested in coming up with a structured plan with your running, with your nutrition, and your strength training, I do offer online coaching if you're not local. I have a link down in the description below where you can fill out a form and we can actually set up time to run through your program and chat more about your goals. And I can tell you more about how I can help you create a program that is going to be built on progression and built on intentionality to help you see the goals that you really want to see. Main thing with strength training, follow program, progress, be competitive with yourself every single workouts. And if you do that and you follow the guidelines like we talked about in our nutrition, you're going to be able to build muscle. Now, the last thing that I want to cover is the running aspect. And hybrid training is all about conditioning and strength. So you always want both of those things in your program. And even if you're trying to bulk and gain weight, you should still be running or you should still be doing your cardio. The volume might come down. And I think periodization really helps well with hybrid training and just overall general strength training and making progress is make the most important thing in your program or the most important goal, the most important thing in your program. So building muscle, the strength training has to be a priority. If you're running and you're training for a marathon, the running is going to be the most important thing. The strength training is going to take a back seat. You never cut one out or you never cut the other out. You always want both in your program. but you need to bring the volume down, bring the intensity down. Maybe you're not going to the track twice a week. Maybe you're focusing more on long, slow recovery miles, building your aerobic base. And typically what you want to do is probably be in that like 10 to 20 miles a week, maybe upwards of 30. You know, if you've been training for a long time, maybe you can pull that off, but you really need to listen to your body. And this is where doing less mileage is going to help. Still running, still getting in those miles is going to make sure that you don't lose your aerobic base and you don't have to build that all over again. So you always want to run if that's your main goal of to train hybrid, but just make sure that you're cutting that running volume down. So we don't need to be going for these crazy 20-mile runs if we're not currently prepping for a marathon. If you can run 10 to 20 miles every single week consistently, avoid injury, have really good strength training workouts, you're going to be able to maintain a great level of conditioning that you're going to be able to hop into a race prep. Say that you have a goal that you want to sign up for a 10K or a half marathon or a marathon. If you're running 10 to 20 miles a week, you're going to be able to maintain a great base that you can jump right into a prep at any time. So never cut it out, but you do need to cut that running volume down. And what I would say is keep most of those running miles below your max aerobic heart rate. So 180 minus your age, going to give you a number. That's what the heart rate that you want to keep most of your mileage below. So say, for example, that you're 30 years old, you're going to take 180 minus 30. It's going to give you 150. Most of your runs should be at or below a heart rate of 150. You could do one high intensity day a week. You could run to the track and do some repeat workouts. You could do some fartlek intervals. You can do all sorts of fun stuff with that. But I would try to keep most of your mileage lower intensity because the strength training is already going to be impacting your body. You're going to need to recover from that. And if you're always running really, really hard, you're going to struggle to recover, or eventually you're going to get hurt. So keep the mileage low and slow, 10 to 20 miles a week, and you're going to be able to maintain a great base. You can hop into a prep at any time. So the overall gist of today, like I said, if you're looking to build muscle as a hybrid athlete, you have to be following a plan. You have to follow a plan with your macros and your nutrition. You have to follow a plan with your strength training, and you have to follow a plan with your running that's built on progression. That's going to help you see the progress that you want. Because at the end of the day, if we're coming in, we're winging our workouts, we're guessing. So we really want to take that guesswork out. And that's something that we aim to help with and create the program for every client that we work with. So if you're looking for more structure, you're looking for a program to be built for you based on your specific goals, I would love to help you out. Like I said, I have a link down in the description below. You can click on that link, fill out that form. I'd be happy to set up time to chat more about your specific goals and how it can help create a program for you that's going to help you see the results that you want to see. So as always, guys, thanks for tuning in to the video. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to help. I'll leave some videos at the top of the screen next. Check those out, and I will see you guys in the next one.